Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Jennifer Quapis podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer, and today we have a very talented guest joining us. I'm thrilled to introduce my dear friend, Kim, an incredible interior designer. In this episode, we'll be diving into the world of interior design and discussing how you can create your dream home. Kim will be sharing her expert tips and insights on everything from choosing the right color palette to selecting the perfect design accents. Whether you're looking to revamp your space or start from scratch, this episode is packed with valuable advice that you won't want to miss. So grab your favorite drink, sit back, and let's get inspired together. Welcome to the show, Kim. Hey, how
girl.
are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. How's everybody doing?
They're okay. Hoping for a cold or snow day tomorrow. So,
right. Yep.
Yeah.
Same in our household. We're flushing ice down the toilets
and
all the things.
Tricks.
Yeah.
Praying under the pillow or something like that.
How's your house? Were you guys big Lions fans? Is there a lot of upset happening?
It was a sad night, but
It was.
what are you gonna do?
I know.
I keep telling myself it was just a game, so maybe next year.
I really had high hopes. That one really took a turn that I wasn't expecting.
I know. I think too, it's like, for me, it's like we have time, but like I keep thinking about all these Lions fans that have been with them for years, and it's like, can we please just give these people something?
Yeah, give them a win, could you?
Exactly. Right.
I know.
So, maybe next year.
We are so excited to have you on the show today and give us all your expert advice.
All right.
So let's jump in and find out what inspired you into interior design. Did you always know? Have you always been passionate about it?
Yeah. So I think like in middle school and high school, probably like everybody else, or maybe not, I don't know. After school, that was my go-to, is to come home and like go on HGTV and whatever show was on. I kind of was like so into it. So at that time, it was like, remember Trading Spaces? Yes.
Yeah.
And Extreme Home Makeover, Home Edition. So I think that was like my first thing. And then, my mom was really good about like letting me have fun at home and kind of change things up. So I would always do my bedroom. She let me do the bathroom at one point. And from there, I kind of was like, okay, I think I have some passion for this. So,
oh my God, I love that. I didn't realize your mom was like, let you take your inspiration out and give the house a go.
And there were some, not so good moments, where you could see the bright colors from the street. And I'm like, okay, back in town.
Hey, you live and you learn, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I would say that's kind of where it started. And then like, as I got older, I thought, I don't know if I want to, go to school for this per se, but I was actually going to go for business, which I think they kind of can go hand in hand, business and interior design, because you're kind of running your own business, obviously, depending on what side of design you're going into.
Yeah.
And then, I was going to do business, and then I switched it last minute to, you know what, I do love design, and we're going to go for it. So
I love that.
That's where we're at. Yeah.
And we're so thankful that you did.
Yeah.
All of your spaces are so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
When you hosted our friend Christmas party this year and we posted pictures from the party, all of the comments were like, oh my God, where are you? Whose house is that? And I'm like, yeah, it's stunning.
Oh, thank you.
So
thank you. It definitely takes time though, Like,
yes.
You can't get it done all in one sitting. And I think, it just takes time, and you just build from it.
It's really hard for people who have my type of personality because you want it and you want it yesterday.
Right, exactly.
So having a new house, I want it all done, and I want it the way I want it. And it just takes so much time even to just be in a space and figure out what you want for that space.
Yeah, it does take time.
All right. So because I really empathize with people on the feeling of like, how do I get started?
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for like, where do we start?
Yeah. So I kind of go based off like 4 main points. First, like function of your space. What are you using the space for? Some people like collect certain things, so they want to show those off. Sometimes it's just, okay, use this room for reading. Use it for watching TV. It's a family room, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So I think that's like the main thing, is figuring out what function your space is meant to be. So that would be number 1.
What a great tip for number one. Like,
Yeah.
what are you going to use the space for?
Yeah.
Very
And
basic, but you might not think that when you're
and you might
trying.
not know right away too. So like you're saying, like you move
Mm-hmm.
into a new build, you haven't lived in the house, so how do you know? So you
Right.
might need to take a minute before you go all crazy and design and kind of figure out, live in it for a while and see what the main things are going to be that you're using that space for. So
Oh,
that would be definitely number one. Number two definitely is your space planning. Your floor plan is probably one of the most important things to me because it has to function. Your space has to function properly. So floor plans, your pieces have to be to scale when you're doing these. This is when you're putting in all your windows and your doors and making sure the traffic pattern's okay for your furnishings and things like that. So I think that if you don't have a good functioning floor plan, then your space just isn't going to work. So
okay.
I
Makes
would,
sense.
yeah.
Figuring out where to put furniture in a room and make sure you can get through it. But
Yes.
also, I'm assuming by scale, are you talking like size of things in the room as well?
Yes. Yes. So, I mean, I could suggest you putting a sofa in your space, but how do you know? You don't know if it's going to be a love seat size where it's like 60 inches, or can I fit an 86-inch sofa?
Oh,
So definitely figuring out just, yeah, what scale you're looking at. And then clearance of your spaces too. So if you're putting a chair next to a sofa, you need like certain clearance to walk through comfortably. Does
mm-hmm.
that make sense?
Yes, totally.
Yeah. So like typically you want like 3 feet. If
Okay.
maybe 2.5, if you want to squeeze through, but comfortably you want like 3 feet walking path pretty much wherever you go is what my kind of rule.
Great tip.
Yeah.
Or
That's kind
even
of
just that you walk into and it's like this big room with tall ceilings and someone has like this tiny couch in the room and
yes.
like you notice those things. So,
Yeah.
or fixtures, like light fixtures. Do we want a big fixture? Do we not want to see it at all?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
those
Scale and
things are
proportion
hard.
is huge. It is
Okay.
huge. And it can kind of like lead to, it could make a room look, and it not inexpensive, but you
No,
know,
right? I mean, you
yeah.
want to create a nice space that
You
is
need the
pretty.
drama.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So
3.
next, yeah, I would do an idea board or like kind of your inspiration, how you want the main room to look. So this is the fun part to me, obviously, and probably most
Yes.
people, is that's where you're going to bring in kind of your personality, right? So you're going to pick out your color scheme. You're going to start playing with textures and artwork and prints and things like that. So I'm a big texture person. I love mixing patterns, whether it's obviously, plaids and stripes and florals and all the things. So the more texture, more pattern, more print, the better to me. And that can be added with, again, pillows, artwork. You can have like a small ottoman with a funky pattern or something like that. But I think the texture and the pattern goes a long way in a space.
So,
So,
how does one pick those things? Because those things are scary.
okay. So that's kind of the idea of the idea board, is to give you this overall vision. Okay. So what I like to do, and this is like not even just for interiors, this is like when I'm party planning, even I create an idea board so that when I'm out and about, like my vision's right here in front of me. I know what I'm looking for, if that makes sense. So my my background per se will be like what my wallpaper will be or what paint color I'm going to choose, which mind you, like paint color should probably be like your last thing. Like paint to
Okay.
me is one of the easier things. And I think
Okay.
paint scares people, but it shouldn't. Paint is, that's the easy part. So pick out your fun things first. So on my idea board, I will give clients like inspiration for what your sofa or love seat or chair should be, get an idea of your end tables, whatever's in the space. Can I just drop it into a visual so that you're ready? And then I like to even try to like pinpoint exactly what kind of artwork I'm going to buy, lamps and stuff like that, and then kind of just go from there. So it's a nice tool for clients too as they're going out shopping. Like you don't have to go and get the name brand or high end piece that I'm suggesting, but if you can find something within your budget that looks similar to it, go for
Yeah.
it. You
Yeah.
know, that will bring me to like my last point. Design process is your budget, and a lot of people don't know what their budget is going into stuff. So what I
Mm-hmm.
like to do is I go back to that step where you're at your floor plan, and I kind of break it down for people. So for example, like Brian, when we went to go furniture shopping the first time, he was thinking, okay, we're going to go get a sofa and it's going to be $600. And I'm like, no, it's not going to be
Sweetie.
$600. Yeah. So let's go shopping around so you can see like that's not where we're at here.
Get
So
everyone on the same page.
yes, totally. So I'll go back to that floor plan and with clients too is like, okay, this is how much you should be expecting for this piece, this piece, this piece. Don't forget window treatments. You just kind of have to break it down for them, I guess.
Yeah.
And as far
Kind
as
of like a list of all the things that you're going to have in that space.
yep,
And then
yep,
start to build
yeah,
prices against those things that you choose to see where you end up.
exactly, yep.
Makes
And so
sense.
I would suggest if you can't do a whole room right, all at once, like we were talking about, which most people can't, I like to break it down into phases. So I try to do the most impactful piece, or you should try to do the most impactful piece to give that drama right away and then build from it. So again, like artwork makes a big difference. So if just adding a piece of art into the room over the sofa, I would maybe start with those pieces and then build like later with like pillows and the window coverings and things like that.
So it's so interesting to me, kind of going back to what you said and then building on mentioning adding the drama first.
Mm-hmm.
I think, at least for me, and I didn't realize, maybe most people think this, I feel like I always would try to pick the color of the room first and then design the room. But you're saying pick your dramatic stuff, your pillows, all your extras and your artwork, and then go back and figure out wallpaper and paint after?
Yeah. So like, again, if you're going to go furniture shopping and you're getting these more expensive items, at least then you're going to have like your fabric swatches and things like that. And then you can go and get your paint deck and pull whatever paint you're going to do. And then, I mean, yeah, it's going to be a pain because your whole room's not going to be furnished and then you're going to have to paint, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, I think paint is the easy part. So get like an inspiration piece almost, I guess, and then build from that.
Okay. I mean, I think to me, that's like mind blowing. I think that's huge to try and figure out all the things in the room first and then go back to that.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why wallpaper and paint and things like that are so scary, because I feel like most people probably try to do the opposite. So,
well, and you could use your wallpaper as your inspiration. So you could use that and then build from that.
if you find something you really love and you know you want to incorporate that, then kind of do it in reverse.
Yep.
Okay.
Find something that you love and just build from there.
Okay, so on that note, what if you don't have a brand new space and you're trying to revamp some of the things that you have? Do you have any tips and tricks for reuse of furniture that you have and trying to give it a fresh vibe?
Yeah. Obviously I think paint is like super easy and cost effective to use. So don't be afraid to refinish furniture. I've done it plenty of times. Make sure you're, doing it properly, sanding it down, cleaning it, priming it, paint it, doing all that. But yeah, I totally think you can give older things new life. I love going to the thrift store. You're talking about existing things, but like, someone else you might have used something or lightly used and they don't want it anymore. I'll take it. I love it. I love going thrifting. I love using Marketplace and purchasing. I mean, Marketplace you have to be careful with.
Sure.
But one of my favorite pieces in my house is a Marketplace find. So
I know, and I think that's a great suggestion, even when we're talking about reuse, right? Because if you're trying to revamp a space, you probably need some things that are new and different in the space. Yeah. So that's a great suggestion, going thrifting and repurposing something that somebody else isn't using that could trigger a new,
even if it's accessories, even if it's like books, like going to how many times do you go to a thrift store and there's used books? Like take the covers off and use just the inside of it. It might go well with your color scheme. I don't know, even like the knick-knacky things. I'm not like crazy about like over knick-knacky things, but there's some really cute
vases or
stuff.
pots or things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you could go on Pinterest and all the things and get inspiration there too. So I got thrift store lamps for my basement bedroom, and I found the technique where you just like add baking soda to paint to give it more of like a matte finish and just textured it. I went outside, I got dirt, I like did all the things to like give it more of a high end look. And
I love it.
Yeah, it's so fun. Just have fun with it,
That it is key, right? You want
It
it to be
is.
fun, but it can be such a stressful process. So I love
Yeah.
that you're giving these pieces of advice to try and make it less stressful and more fun and
Yeah.
really tailor it to the things that you love and go
Yeah.
outside the box and
Totally.
try and do some of it yourself because art
Absolutely.
is expensive.
It is expensive.
So,
I love to, yeah, DIY your artwork. That's one of mine in my living room. It's like, okay, I need this huge piece of art. It's not in the budget right now. I
yeah,
have an old frame or canvas in the basement. Let's try it real quick. And if it works, cool, put it up. Why not?
so cool.
Yeah, just have fun.
Okay, so how do you appease a couple, right? Because you're most of the time you're probably working with husband and wife or, two people that live in a home that could
Yeah.
have different ideas and
Oh, they do.
tastes.
They
So,
do. Yeah. So what I typically do is kind of have them each fill out a questionnaire that I provide separately. So I like to
mm,
know what their vision is individually before I kind of try to mesh them together. And really it's all about compromise. I mean, you have to be able to compromise and able to in order to create the space for two people or a family.
sure.
Yeah. So some of the questions I'll ask, again, going back, I mean, like obviously, how are you going to use the space? What do you want it to feel like? How do you want to feel when you're in there? Is it calming for you, or are you going to be entertaining and you want it to be more fun? I even break down like textures, like do you like plaids? Do you like florals? Do you like this? Do you like that? And maybe they do agree on certain things, and I'll try to use those again, even if it's just like in a pillow, just to
Yeah.
to get some balance there. I think a big thing too is like, do you have pets? Do you have children? Are they allowed on the furniture? Are you eating and drinking in this space? Because I think that is going to help you narrow down a lot of things as
Mm,
far as like fabric selection, ease
yeah.
of cleaning pieces. So yeah, I kind of just have them fill that out separately and see where we're at. And then I will sit down and have them go through like a catalog with me. And sometimes it's easier for people to point out what they don't like about something or a
Okay.
space than it is what they do like.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll sit and then they'll just be like, I hate that. It's like, okay, make sure you don't use the color yellow or whatever, like,
Right, right.
yeah. So I kind of break it down that way first. And then just explain to the couple, like, this is about compromise. You're each going to get something that you want or love, and we'll try to make it work. I also will say, if a client doesn't like something, tell the designer, because they can switch it up for you. We could design multiple things different ways, but we're kind of trying to narrow it down. You're not going to hurt our feelings if you don't like something. We want to make it what, we want you to love it.
Right, right. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so don't be afraid.
That's a good point because obviously having somebody inviting them into your home and asking their advice. So it maybe is hard sometimes to be like, yeah, thanks for the advice, but I don't like it. So it's
Right.
relieving to hear
Just
you
be
say that.
honest. Yeah, just be
Yeah,
honest. There's other things that you can do.
right, for
And
sure.
also try to trust your designer too. Like, even in our own house, like I'll be like, "Oh, I want to do this." And people will be like, I don't know about it. Like, are you sure?" It's like, "Yeah, let's just do it." And then they see it and it's like, "Oh, okay." So
Yeah, for
sometimes it takes
sure.
a minute. Yeah.
To get everyone on board with your bold idea.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Yep.
All right. So I want to circle back on how do you choose design elements in the house? So we talked about patterns you like or don't like and colors you may like and you don't like, but how do you decide how to style something, right? So you picked the furniture, you've picked the pieces you want in there. Any
Mhm.
advice for how you put those things together?
Are you referring to like bookcases and end tables and things like that?
Yes. Yep.
Um, so with design too, there's not really a rule or anything. It's kind of just more of a visual thing. I like odd numbers for some reason.
Okay.
So like if you're staging a space, a bookcase, end table, whatever, I don't know, the odd number to me visually is better than an even number.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, and then height variation, you kind of just have to step back. This can be kind of tricky too, because you have to
Mm-hmm.
play around with it. Even for me, like if I'm staging a bookcase, I have to step back and I will constantly just rearrange things and just try to figure it out. But layering pieces, depth, height, now all of that, I would think kind of gives you some dimension. But yeah, it's just kind of like trial and error, to be honest. Just,
Okay. But all good things to think about, right?
yes,
Looking at height of things, the number of things you're
yes,
putting when you're putting
hmm
things together on like a console table or in your
yeah,
entryway or something like
yeah.
that. Those
Um,
things can be hard to style.
yeah, and I would say too, like I love having greenery in your space. I think it just gives you that like natural element, whether it's faux or real, whatever is easier for you, what you
Yeah.
enjoy. But I feel like every space should really have some type of tree or plant or some type of natural element. So I try to incorporate that.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah. Some people are more of a green thumb than others, so I like that you
yeah.
say that it can still be faux.
You can mix it up because I have both. I have
I
both.
do too.
Yeah. Some of my plants are friendly with me. Others, it's better that you're fake.
Yeah, right. 100%.
Yeah, yeah,
Some I've thought I could keep alive and they just
mm,
aren't looking great, so, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. It's touch and go.
Oh
Mm,
my gosh. Well,
mm,
I think all of that is wonderful things to think about. So, kind of
yeah.
just recapping what you said, pick out the bold colors and patterns that you like, and then try to go from the inside out with
Hmm.
colors on the wall or
Hmm.
patterns that you might incorporate.
Yeah,
Wallpaper is coming back.
it
So I
is.
feel like I absolutely love it.
Hmm.
And it terrifies me to incorporate it. Like, when is wallpaper too much? How do you decide how much of a wall to put wallpaper on?
Gosh, I don't know if it could be too much right now. I love it. I love it.
Okay.
Um,
So you can
but
just
again,
like
it's
cover a
personal
whole room. What if it's a
preference.
small bathroom? Do you do
Oh,
the
love
whole
it, head
thing?
to toe. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, for me, again, personal preference. I just have like in the basement just this accent wall of it, just because
Mm-hmm.
it's a little bit bold uh,
Yeah.
and in my budget, I can't, I couldn't do like,
Okay.
a
Right.
whole space
Fair.
in it. So, yeah, I don't know. I maybe if the pattern was too bold and just to keep it in a smaller space, if it's subtle, go for it. There's beautiful wallpapers out that are just texture, like a grass cloth or something that gives a lot of dimension. Um, I'm a big fan of wallpaper, and it's like some can be super expensive. So again, maybe
Mm-hmm.
do a smaller project with that one. Some of it you can find decent stuff at Home Depot and Amazon. You know,
Right.
I've played around with that peel and stick.
I was just going to ask about it. Yeah.
Oh,
Not a
um,
fan.
not the projects I've done.
Okay.
My sisters have found a company that they use. That's great. They love it, and it comes like in sheets, and
Okay.
I'm sorry, like numbered sheets, I guess.
Uh-huh.
But they love it. I haven't had luck with not that brand, but like I'm not a fan of peel and stick. My mom taught me how to wallpaper, and my dad. I prefer the traditional like paste.
Mm-hmm.
It just gives you a little bit more flexibility for shifting and moving,
Okay.
which is really important when you're trying to line up patterns.
Yeah, I
So
would think too with how long it lasts, especially if we're talking like a bathroom where like there's moisture and stuff. Like,
yeah.
do they have peel and stick in bathrooms? Does it hold up? Or is that not
I
where they've
don't
used it?
know if it's going to last as long because of the moisture. The ones I've dealt with, it kind of gives you that warning, like it could be a couple years. So, I mean, even I see up in my foyer, my stuff lifting a little bit. So I just have to go back and just touch it up a little bit. So,
So with the paste one you're talking about, you can do touch-ups on it.
I am going to try. I don't know
Okay.
if it will activate the
Yeah.
the adhesive or not,
Yeah.
but and again, it's right by my kid's timeout spot, so I don't know if they're picking at it,
Oh
which
my
they
God.
could be. So yeah, I have to give it a try.
I love it.
Yeah, I would definitely think it's them,
That is
not the wallpaper.
hilarious. And
Yeah,
I'm going to have to come back to you on that one because I need to know more if you
I'm
find
gonna
out.
go upstairs right now and ask them.
Oh, okay. What about hanging things on walls? Any rules for where things should be placed and what to
Yeah.
look for there?
Yeah. Okay. So back to size. I think size is important. If you do something too small, it's going to look ridiculous. So find the appropriate size for whatever you're hanging. I try to do things like eye level if it's not
Mm,
going above something.
okay.
So just kind of eyeballing it, to be honest.
Right.
But if it's hanging over something, I typically try to do like 6 to 8 inches above that piece.
Okay.
whether it is behind your sectional or if it's behind a console table, whatever that might be. I would try to do like 6 to 8 inches.
Okay. Ooh, that's good to know
Yeah.
because I feel like
Also, okay.
you that makes sense, right? You want it in line with people's eyes if it's art and you want them to see it, but hanging it
Yes.
too high goes out of the focal
Yes.
point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember, this is just a stupid little story, but when we lived in the apartment, I was working and Brian thought it was like this cute little thing to like hang the art without me. Okay. And I come home and we had cathedral ceilings and he hung it so high. It was almost to the ceiling. And I was like, thank you, but this has to be redone.
I
And he was
appreciate
like,
you, but
what? It
we got
looks
to try
great. I'm
again.
like, no. Yeah. Try again. Also, like if you have a series of prints, like I kind of do behind me, not
Yeah.
hanging them too far apart. I literally do like an inch or two,
Okay.
depending on the size of the wall. But like if it's too spaced out,
Mm-hmm.
it's too much. We
It's
gotta
too
like
much.
group it together. Yeah,
Okay.
pull it
And
together.
is there any rule to figuring out like this is the size of my wall, so this is the size of the piece that I need? How do you know?
Um,
Are you
I
visually
not
just
necessarily.
eyeballing it?
I'm kind of visualizing it.
Uh-huh.
I guess it depends too. Again, if it's going over something, I think
Mm-hmm.
that has a big.
So if it's going over a couch, do you want it to span across the whole back of the couch, or are we looking to try and keep it centered? What are you?
I typically try to go bigger
Mm-hmm.
instead
Okay.
of smaller. Um, yeah, try to fill it up, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then mirrors. Any tips for where to hang mirrors, how it helps a room, anything like that?
So I think like just when you're thinking about putting a mirror up, always remember what it's reflecting. Um,
Ooh, okay.
like don't hang a mirror over a sofa if it's going to be reflecting like the TV. Like you
Yeah,
just kind of have to think about that. Like, yeah, what are we going to be looking at when we're looking at this mirror?
that
You know
makes
what I mean?
sense. Yeah.
So I think that's like the biggest thing. Like, as far as like making the room bigger, yeah, it could definitely do that. But I think it's more important, like, what are we reflecting?
Okay. Nope, that's
Yeah.
perfect. That's exactly what I think people are looking for.
Yeah.
They're so pretty and there's so many different shapes and I love the frames on a lot of them,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I just don't know where they're okay to be hung.
Yeah. I mean, like I have mine in my foyer. So if people are coming in the house, they have a quick little glance over,
Oh,
check yourself,
right?
you know? So yeah, that's something to think about. I wouldn't, yeah,
Love
like I said, I
that.
probably wouldn't do it per se, like in a living room, maybe over a console in a living room,
Okay.
but like not over your sofa. But again, like there's no rules to design. If that's what you want, like go for it. I
Hmm.
don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No.
people always touch on like trends and stuff. Like, yeah, trends will come and go, but like ultimately, if you love something, do it.
Ooh, that is so true. That is
Right?
so true because I remember even picking certain things, building the house, and having them
Yeah.
be like, oh, that's probably not going to hold up in 4 or 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and being like, but I
But
like
I
it.
love it. Yeah. Yeah. Someone said something about like a white kitchen the other day
Yeah.
and how it was trendy. And I was like, but is it? Like I've always thought white white kitchens were beautiful, you know?
Right.
As long
Right.
as it's not stark white and you don't feel so sterile, if it's like a warm white or whatever, like I can't see that going out of style. But yeah, it's trendy to some people,
Right.
maybe not others. So
Well, I mean, and design stuff does change a
it
lot. It
does.
seems to have like this 5 to 10 year cycle, depending on what
It
it
does.
is, and then it
Yeah,
changes so much,
it
and
does. How do you
that
keep up?
right.
How
No,
do you keep up?
yeah, you can't. So
Yeah.
maybe that's also something. Should you consider that, or should you just go after what you love at the moment?
Right. And I think the
It's
budget too kind of is a big thing too. So like I will suggest like if you're going to have this space and you have these big furniture pieces, do
mhm,
those more neutral and safe, I guess.
okay,
And then have fun with the accessories, you know? So like have fun with your pillows. Those are easy and inexpensive to change out. Artwork, if you don't go expensive and you have something I don't know, artwork
right,
can change out. But like
yeah,
I've done like little things with clients before where I take out all the accessories from a room and just have the main pieces and it's like blah. Like it's just nothing. And then you throw in the color and the pattern and the texture and they're like, "Wow, look at this space." It's like that's all you need.
Yeah. Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so that
Yeah.
makes sense. Spend the
Hmm.
money on the big ticket items, maybe go a
Yeah.
little safer so it
Yeah.
lasts a little longer than
Yep.
something that's more permanent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Totally.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we learned a lot and we have a
Oh, good.
lot to digest. So those were awesome tips.
Yeah.
I immediately want to get up and start reshuffling things around and go buy new pillows.
Right. Well, good luck.
Oh. All right. So I've been asking everybody so far, what is the best piece of advice in life in general that you've ever received?
I don't know if there's like a single piece. I feel like you like go through your life and you're constantly learning and
True.
getting advice from everybody. So just kind of take little bits here and there. I did hear someone recently say, live your life with intention. And that really
Mm.
kind of stuck with me. It's not hard to be kind to people. Like, be kind, be weird. Like, I always tell my kids, like, they're always like, Mom, you're weird. I'm like, cool, let's be weird. Who cares? Follow your values and your morals and just, you know,
Be yourself
be
and
yourself.
be
Yeah,
intentional about what you do. I think that's
exactly.
perfect. And it is so
Yeah,
true. Things change with the seasons. So
they
the
do.
advice you got 10 years ago might not pertain to where you're at today.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah,
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming
of
on.
course. It was so
You
fun.
know all the things, and I'm so glad that I
Aw,
got to pick your brain and share it with
thank you.
everybody today. So
Yeah, it
I
was fun.
appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Kim.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode with our special guest, Kim, and found her interior design tips and insights helpful. Remember, creating your dream home is all about finding what works best for you and your space. Before we wrap up, I have an exciting offer for you. If you enjoyed this episode and want to stay updated with more design tips and exclusive content, make sure you subscribe to my monthly newsletter. As a special thank you, you'll receive a free design process guide to help you get started on your next project. The link to subscribe is in the show notes, so don't miss out. Thank you again for listening, and I can't wait to share more with you in our upcoming episodes. Until then, stay inspired and keep creating beautiful spaces. If you're like me and always on the lookout for new styles but hate the hassle of shopping, I've got just the thing for you: Stitch Fix. Stitch Fix is a personal styling service that sends you hand picked clothing and accessories right to your door. Here's how it works: you'll start by filling out a quick quiz about your style preferences on their website or app. It's fun. It helps your stylist get to know your unique fashion preferences, sizes, and even your budget. Next, your personal stylist curates a box of items just for you. And let me tell you, they are spot on. Every piece feels like it was chosen just for me and it fits. You can try everything on in the comfort of your home, keep what you love, and send back what you don't. It's that easy. I've been using Stitch Fix for 3 years now, and it has completely transformed my wardrobe. No more crowded malls or endless scrolling through online stores. Plus, the excitement of receiving a new box and discovering what's inside is like opening a present. Best part, there's something for everyone: men, women, kids, you name it. Whether you need casual wear, workout outfits, or something special for an event, Stitch Fix has got you covered. And hey, if you're not sure about something, their customer service is top notch and is always ready to help. So if you're ready to elevate your style and make shopping a breeze, head over to stitchfix.com or download their app on your phone. Even better, head into the show notes and I'll include a link for $25 off your first order. Enjoy!